एकम् अक्षरम् हृदि निरन्तरम् भासते स्वयम् लिख्यते हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वम् चिन्वता मज्जता कालचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। देहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तत भावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भाव सोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिव पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिव पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsang from Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning, it has been our practice to read 2 verses from Guru Vachaka Kovai, the scripture. Reading will be followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that shall be followed by a practice session of Atmauchara. After these 2 segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and the practice of self-enquiry are completed, there will be summing up remarks by Shri Venkatesh Deshpande ji, and today there shall be verbal offering of Sri Ramanastotram by Vaibhavji and Pratnama, and we shall offer self-enquiry again during that period, as our puja team is not in station in a proper sense. So we do self-enquiry as the Ramana Ashtotram is being chanted as to who is listening to the Ashtotram. We begin this evening's satsang by going to the first verse, 402, selected for us. We find this verse occurring in the segment Investigation into Truth. Investigation into truth is followed by meditation on the truth, and that is followed by Anubhava or experience of the truth. These are the three main segments of the work after the prefatory verses. So we find verse number 402 occurring in the segment Investigation into Truth. The subsegment is Atma Vichara. Verse 402 in the subsegment Atma Vichara. Mind, the veiling, has stolen away the self, the consciousness light. There is a hyphen between the two, indicating a togetherness or oneness. The mind, the veiling, has stolen away the self, the consciousness light of unlimited supreme bliss. When its form is destroyed, when the mind's form is destroyed, by thoroughly inquiring, who am I? It will shine illustriously. The consciousness light will shine illustriously as the supreme space of Swarupa. I'll read that again. Mind, the veiling, has stolen away the self, the consciousness light of unlimited supreme bliss. When its form, the mind's form, is destroyed by thoroughly inquiring, who am I? It, the consciousness light, will shine illustriously, gloriously, as the supreme space of Swarupa. So the consciousness light itself is Swarupa. I think we can go directly to practice, as this is a practice verse. We'll do the who am I. As soon as a thought arises towards the destruction of the mind, what one has to do? Let go of the thought and inquire, for whom is this thought? The answer will be, this thought is for me. Who am I? Takes the I thought to its place of origin. So let us practice till 7:30. That's about 20 minutes from now. Revati ji, are available? You can set the time for 20 minutes. No more, Ramana. We continue the satsang by going to the second verse selected for us. Verse number 897. Is that right, Ravatima? Thank you. We find this in the Anubhava segment, experience of the truth. The subtitle is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Vikalpa is differences in consciousness. Nirvikalpa is without differences. The Samadhi Sthiti is, of course, the ego subsiding with the source. 897. Nirvikalpa Samadhi subsegment. Mind of mind. You who through ignorance have subverted your true nature, should you now begin to think, I am Shiva, or you will be deceived yet again. In the ultimate state, the thought I does not exist at all. That which truly exists is only the Atma Swarupa, the heart that exists and shines. Muruganar. The attainment of this state has been elegantly explained in the verse 30 of Ulladanarpadi. As the mind seeking inwardly through the enquiry, who am I, reaches the heart, and the one known as I bows its head in shame, as the mind seeking inwardly through the enquiry, who am I, reaches the heart, and the one known as I bows its head in shame, the one appears spontaneously as I. However, that which appears is not the I of the ego. It is the perfection of the real. It is the reality that is the self. Nanar yana manamul nadi ula nannave. Nanam avantalai nanamura. Nan தோன்றுமொன்று தானாக தோன்றினும் நான் அன்று பொருள் பூன்றம் அதாம் பூன்றம் அது தானாம் பொருள் பொங்கி தோன்றவே தன்னை அழித்தெழுந்த தன்மையானந்தருக்கு. Like that the Ulladanarpadi continues. Here the mind is addressed objectively. O mind of mind, you who through ignorance have subverted your true nature, the true nature of everything being the self, the true nature of mind is also the self. You who have through ignorance subverted your true nature by thinking, I am a jiva, I am bound inside this body, I am bound by the identities like father, mother, son, sister, mother, all these that I have created for myself, for yourself rather, in this address. I am a jiva. I give you this warning. Should you now begin to think I am Shiva? So Bhagavan, when asked what is the difference between meditation and vichara in the who am I? What is the difference between inquiry and meditation? Bhagavan says, inquiry consists in retaining the mind in this self. Whenever the mind wants to rise and go away, fly away, as the I thought, pursuing other thoughts, the inquiry keeps the mind in the self. Inquiry consists in retaining the mind in the self. Meditation consists in thinking that oneself is Brahman, existence, consciousness, self, existence, consciousness, bliss, or I am Shiva. So, Bhagavan is saying here through Muruganar Swamigal that the mind just taking on the meditation, I am Shiva, you will be deceived yet again, says the verse. In the ultimate state, the thought I does not exist at all. So only if the I arises, can you say I am so and so, isn't it? So in the ultimate state, when the final toll has been paid, the I thought is completely destroyed. So the other thought is also not capable of rising. Without the I thought rising, the I does not exist at all. That which truly exists is only the I, the Atma Swarupa, the Spurana, the heart that exists and shines. The Spurana, of course, is unbroken, but it is the Shakti Swarupa. Therefore, Bhagavan says, hold that and do not ask anything of that Spurana. Then the true nature of the self, of Purna Mauna, where even the Spurana, like fire lit on camphor, whitens down. The Spurana, which is actually the world, the Jiva and the Ishvara in one, all in one. Jagat, Aham, Para, Spurati Metrayam, says Ganapati Muni. All the three together. So when one is experiencing this Purana, whatever is there in Jagam, in whatever Jagam that may be there, everything is there in that Purana. Whatever nature of individual identity, one may get rich, poor, small, big, the president, that, this, all that is there in that Purana. And all forms of deities, including that singular God in which all the deities, all the worlds, all the individuals are merged, is in that Spurana. So Bhagavan says, don't ask anything of that Spurana, just hold it and be quiet. Then that Spurana itself will subside as the Atma Swarupa. So the instruction here to the mind is, stop identifying as the Jiva, I am the body, I am these identities. Now to remove that, don't now meditate on a higher identity to become that. Because in the final analysis, the I itself is not there for it to assume some identity or form. Therefore, go for the destruction of the I and the destruction of the Idam. The destruction in one sense is fulfillment. The fulfillment of the limited world, the fulfillment of the limited I, the fulfillment of all the deities is found in the self. To reach that fulfillment that is there in the Atma Swarupa, says Bhagavan. So let us practice with Bhagavan's grace the fulfillment that exists when all these limitations of Jagat, Aham and Para in relative sense are transcended. And the Atma Swarupa alone shines in all its fullness. Till that eternal bliss is realized, the Atma Vichara will not stop. And one's efforts should not stop. Till that effortless bliss, the Satchitananda, is realized as one's Swarupa. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit and practice for 10 minutes. Revatima, you'll help us again? Thank you. Namo Ramana. I request Venkatesh ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murtihi, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam, Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. Namo Ramana. As today is the 135th day of Swami Shivananda, so I thought I will read from some of his inputs on the mind. So he was illustrations of the two illustrations of the power of the mind. Say if you get a telegram at 12 midnight on a hot day in summer, which informs you that your father is seriously ailing in your native village, which is 20 miles distant. At once you leave even your food and begin to gallop, start running. Though you yourself are not in good health at that time, you do not mind anything as you are very anxious to see your loving father. You even run the whole distance and reach the place within a couple of hours. Then you begin to wonder, what? I was myself very sick. The day was very hot. I have covered a distance of 20 miles within 2 hours. Exhibit wonderful powers to jump over a huge wall, save many children, run amidst fire boldly and carry things. All psychic faculties, memory, imagination, will, etc., are at play. Chivalry, undaunted spirit, mercy, and various other noble virtues are exhibited by you. Where from did you draw these faculties and powers? From this, you can conclude that you are in reality all powerful. There is a big, magnanimous magazine of power inside. Go to the source by meditation and tap it. You will get everything. Rely on the self within. So, when the mind is so much powerful, what to speak of anything of the glory of the Atman? So, if we say the mind itself is so powerful, what to speak about the glory of the Atman? Who is the storehouse of everything? Who is the infinite, inexhaustible, central magazine of power, knowledge, and bliss, from whom the little mind borrows its light and power? Let's read this again, very important. When the mind is so much powerful, what to speak of anything of the glory of Atman, who is the storehouse of everything, who is the infinite, inexhaustible, central magazine of power, knowledge, and bliss, from whom the little mind borrows its light and power. So when we dive a little bit deeper, then we try to understand what are the things that are the enemies of the mind. So we need to see what are the enemies. Dispassion, discrimination, renunciation, and meditation are enemies of the mind. You can destroy the mind easily if you possess these virtues. The mind manifests itself as the external world in the shape of pain and pleasure. This is a very important next sentence is most important. The mind subjectively is consciousness. The mind subjectively is consciousness, while objectively it is this universe. The mind subjectively is consciousness, while objectively it is the universe. The mind has the potency of creating or undoing the world in the twinkling of an eye. So when we get a thought, so Nandakumar told us to do self-enquiry. In the twinkling of the eye, we have all these thoughts about doing something and all we are in the world. And when we do self-enquiry, who am I? In the twinkling of an eye, you get into the source. You are from the objectivity, you go suddenly to the subjectivity, you go into the consciousness, just in the twinkling of an eye. So the creation, preservation, destruction, wailing, and blessings are God's five kinds of action. God is the ruler, the knower of the heart, and the prompter. He helps the student in a various ways through. So this is the important thing. Now they ask, how does God prompt? So Swami Shivananda beautifully writes, he helps the student in a variety of ways through dreams. So we get dreams, some prompting happens. The inner voice, sometimes you hear some inner voice talking through the mouths of others in conversation. So sometimes you are sitting and somebody talks about something, and then that is the also prompting of God. And in advice from friends, some friends also gives us some advice. So these are the way that varieties of ways through which God prompts each of the students. So the eternal bliss, the supreme peace, eternal satisfaction, infinite happiness, and unbroken joy can be had only in God. So that is most important. So the everything outside everything that we see in Nama and Rupa does not give us everlasting happiness. And we as devotees of Bhagwan, and when we sit in satsang, we are trying to understand the truth. So attain, that's what Swami Shivananda says, attain God consciousness, all self-realization through exclusive devotion to one aspect of the Lord or by self-enquiry. So if you keep on inquiring, then what happens? Then you have control of the mind. And this control of the mind is not done in a day, but by constant practice and sustained dispassion. You have to have sustained dispassion. You must truly believe that's the only thing you want in this jiva, in this janma, that you only want self knowledge. And if you drop everything else, then you can, victory will be yours. Swami Shivananda says, because become a true hero, have a mastery over the mind, enter the illimitable realms of bliss. Blessed is he who has controlled his mind and achieved self-conquest. But the beautiful thing about the mind is if you bring it towards objectivity, then it's the world. But the same mind, if you keep inquiring, doing self-inquiry, and then understanding, hey, what's the truth of this mind, you'll go towards the subjectivity, which is the aham ahamiti sakshat atma rupena bhati. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana, sir. Thank you. May I request Vaibhavji and Pratnama to chant the Ashtotram?
Yes, sir.
Let the rest of us sit in Atma Vichara with the enquiry. Who is the listener? We can start.
Yes. Namo Ramana. Bharadwaja Vishwanatha Virachitam Sri Ramanashtottara Shatanamavali Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe Yasyorvi Matram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahitam Tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chindavihinam Hridicintayami Om Mahasena Mahomshena Jataya Namaha Om Sri Ramanaya Namaha Om Gurave Namaha Om Akhanda Samvidakaraya Namaha Om Mahaujase Namaha Om Karanodbhavaya Namaha Om Jagadhitavatāraya Namaha Om Sri Bhuminatha Sarosthitaya Namaha Om Parasharakulottamsaya Namaha Om Sundararya Tapafalaya Namaha Om Kamaniya Sucharitraya Namaha Om Sahayamba Sahayavate Namaha Om Shonachala Manasaya Namaha Om Swarnahasakaya Namaha Om Srimadvadashanta Mahastale Labda Vidyodayaya Namaha Om Mahashakti Nipatena Prabuddhaya Namaha Om परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेश्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋक्शान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ मुखमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः विनिष्टस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्यैकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमः इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो रमणा वैभव जी प्रार्थना। नमो रमणा वेंकटेश जी।
नमो रमणा